Japan has decided to start rebuilding its military once again, and this is bringing a lot of attention to the country, particularly from China. Basically, what Japan is doing is acquiring some of the latest military tech for its army, including 2 aircraft carriers. Normally, this would not be much of a cause of concern for other nations, but China sees this development as a threat to their growing strength in East Asia. The big question here is, why is Japan rebuilding its military all of a sudden? And why is China seeing it as a threat? After the devastation of the Second World War, Japan largely became a pacifist nation. They went as far as making it part of their constitution with Article 9 of the Japanese Constitution, which renounced Japan's right to wage war and even prohibited the nation from maintaining land, sea, and air forces. However, a lot has changed since World War II, and there are new threats on the horizon. These threats have prompted Japan to reinterpret Article 9 in 2015, allowing the nation to exercise the right of collective self-defense. But Japan didn't just stop there. Toward the end of 2022, it officially adopted a new strategy that focuses on building its counter-strike capabilities used to preempt enemy attacks. So why is Japan rebuilding its military all of a sudden? Well, as you can already guess, China is one factor. Japan has repeatedly flagged its hostile neighbor China as its biggest strategic challenge. China's growing military might and its desire to spread its influence across the globe is a big threat to not just Japan, but all other countries neighboring China. However, China's actions weren't what triggered Japan's new military policy. Well, at least not directly. The primary culprit is actually Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Prior to the Ukraine war, Japan harbored a belief that any future conflict in the region would be swift, clean, and relatively straightforward. However, as retired Japanese Air Self-Defense Force General Toshimichi Nagaiwa aptly stated, the Ukraine war has shown us the necessity of being able to sustain a fight, and that's something Japan has not so far been prepared for. The protracted nature of the conflict and the resilience exhibited by Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression shattered Japan's preconceived notions about the dynamics of modern warfare. This newfound realization forced Japan to confront a harsh truth. Its current military equipment and preparedness were severely inadequate to successfully defend its sovereignty in the event of a prolonged conflict. Japan found itself trailing behind in what Nagaiwa likened to a 400-meter sprint. With a deficit of approximately 200 meters, the urgency to bridge this gap became paramount, prompting Japan to explore 2 options: either purchase the missing weapons or manufacture them domestically. Given Japan's rich history of technological advancements and innovation, the latter option proved more appealing. By leveraging its industrial and scientific advancements, Japan aimed to gather the necessary equipment to prevail in a sustained conflict within the next 5 years. This decision was not merely a matter of military preparedness, but also a strategic move to assert Japan's position as a formidable force in the region. While the Ukraine conflict served as the primary trigger, Japan's security concerns extend far beyond the events in Europe. Back home in Asia, the long-standing tensions with China, particularly in the East China Sea and over the issue of Taiwan, have been a constant source of concern for Tokyo. Japan's declaration of support for the United States in defending Taiwan's sovereignty and freedom against China's territorial ambitions has further increased the already strained relations between the 2 nations. China's response to Japan's stance has been a massive military buildup in the Pacific region. The People's Liberation Armies conducted numerous military drills in the East China Sea, firing missiles and flexing its military muscle. This display of force has been perceived by Japan as a direct challenge to its security and territorial integrity. Compounding these concerns is the ever-present threat posed by North Korea's frequent nuclear and missile development programs. Japan's 2023 Defense White Paper emphasized the gravity of this issue, labeling North Korea as a security threat bigger than ever before. The white paper explicitly states Japan's belief that North Korea possesses the capability to strike the country with nuclear-armed ballistic missiles, a concern fueled by the recurring test launches of missiles into the Sea of Japan by North Korea. Faced with these multifaceted threats, Japan has recognized the need to adopt a more proactive and offensive security strategy. This shift in defense posture has manifested in Japan's pursuit of cutting-edge military technologies and weapon systems. At the forefront of Japan's effort to rebuild and equip its military is the ongoing project to upgrade 2 of its former warships into full-fledged aircraft carriers. The process of converting these vessels into aircraft carriers has been a meticulous undertaking. In 2017, the JS Kaga entered service as a helicopter carrier, but it has since undergone extensive modifications to accommodate the Lockheed Martin F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters. These modifications included altering the ship's trapezoidal bow into a rectangular shape, applying heat-resistant coatings to the flight deck, and painting new markings to facilitate the operation of the F-35B jets. The JS Kaga's conversion was completed on March 29, 2024. After 2 years of intensive work at the Japan Marine United Shipyard in Kure, Hiroshima Prefecture. According to Admiral Roy Sakai, Chief of Staff of Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force, the Kaga is now scheduled to undergo a series of tests, including sea trials, to assess its capabilities and readiness for future operations. Meanwhile, the lead ship of the Izumo class, the JS Izumo, has also been undergoing similar modifications. Initial upgrades to the Izumo began in 2021, and in the fall of that year, the vessel successfully hosted a U.S. Marine Corps F-35B for a short takeoff and vertical landing test, demonstrating the feasibility of the U.S.-Japan Light Aircraft Carrier program. Once fully operational, both the JS Kaga and the JS Izumo will be capable of carrying up to 12 F-35B fighter jets and 16 helicopters, significantly enhancing Japan's maritime strike and air defense capabilities. The Japanese government has already ordered 42 F-35B aircraft in addition to 105 F-35A variants for its air self-defense force, making the country one of Lockheed Martin's largest customers for the advanced stealth fighter. The decision to upgrade these vessels has not been without controversy. However, China has accused Japan of violating the peace constitution and possessing offensive weapons that could be used to strike targets on foreign soil. Beijing has argued that aircraft carriers inherently possess an offensive capability, which contradicts Japan's stated commitment to self-defense. Tokyo, however, maintains that its position remains unchanged and that the modified carriers are the minimum necessary for self-defense. The Japanese government has asserted that the F-35B fighter jets will not be permanently deployed on the Kaga and Izumo, thereby avoiding the classification of these vessels as offensive attack aircraft carriers, which would be unconstitutional under Japan's current laws. Experts have weighed in on the debate, with some arguing that the limited number of fighter jets on board the Japanese carriers reduces their offensive potential compared to larger carriers operated by other nations, such as China's Liaoning and Shandong. Others have pointed out that the absence of fixed-wing early warning aircraft on these carriers could limit their independent operational capabilities. Beyond the technical specifications and debates surrounding their offensive or defensive nature, the upgrade carriers hold significant symbolic value for Japan. They represent a tangible manifestation of the nation's commitment to enhancing its deterrence capabilities and asserting its military presence in the region. With the rising tension in the East China Sea and the broader Asia-Pacific region, Japan's acquisition of these aircraft carriers is poised to reshape the regional power dynamics. The ability to project air power from mobile naval platforms not only reinforces Japan's defensive posture, but also serves as a deterrent against potential aggression from adversaries like China and North Korea. Now that Japan has risen up, there might be someone in the Indo-Pacific region to put China in its place before things get out of hand. While the path ahead is dotted with challenges and scrutiny, Japan's determination to rebuild its military might is driven by a conviction that a strong defensive capability is essential to safeguard its sovereignty and interest in its increasingly volatile geopolitical landscape. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more amazing videos.